So we'll open up the meeting, call the public session to order. Board President Joy Naylor is unable to join us tonight. She's somewhere in the north. I will fill in as acting board president, and Jacqueline A. Gaby will fill in as acting board clerk. We do have a quorum here at the dais right now. This meeting is being webcast live and recorded. The recording or webcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. We'll identify closed session items. They are as follows. Recommended expulsions, recommended suspended expulsions, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, and complaints, conference with labor negotiator, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, conference with real property negotiators, and anticipated litigation. And I left that darn piece of paper on the other side. We have 5 cases tonight, and we're supposed to report out on which numbers those are. And I guess I have to go get that and do that, don't I?
We have a new.
There's a new step here.
Could you run and get that?
So 2.7 anticipated litigation. There are a total of 5 matters under this item. 2 matters involve facts and circumstances that might result in litigation against the district, but which facts and circumstances are not yet known to the potential plaintiffs. 3 matters are EEOC cases number 37A 2025-02197, number 485-2025-00411, and 485-2025-00418. With that in place, we will public comment. Hang on, sit down. Public comment on any closed session item will be heard at this time pursuant to board policy. The board may limit individual comments to no more than 3 minutes and individual topics to 20 minutes. It is recommended you begin your comments by stating your name. Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will adjourn to closed session. Okay, we'll now convene the regular session. Thank you for your enthusiasm here tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
You can hear me, clap for it?
Come on, folks. Time to focus.
It's on, but is it?
Thank you, Oak Grove. All right, so why am I sitting here? Well, tonight, Board President Joy Naylor is unable to join us for a good reason. I will fill in as acting board president, and Jackie Gaby to my right here will fill in as acting clerk. Let's get this together. So we convene the regular session. I'd like to introduce the interpreter. Alondra Moran will serve as the Spanish interpreter for this meeting. Meeting attendees who would like to listen to the Spanish interpretation of the proceedings, please pick up headphones from the table located in the back of the room. This announcement will now be shared in Spanish.
Alondra Morán servirá como intérprete al español para esta reunión. Invitamos a los asistentes de la reunión que deseen escuchar la interpretación al español, el ir por audífonos a la mesa ubicada al fondo de la sala de reuniones. Gracias.
This meeting is being webcast live and recorded. The recording or webcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Members of the public who would like to provide public comment on items listed on tonight's agenda, we recommend you fill out the public comment form, the green form, located on the table at the northeast entrance to the room. Please hand the completed form to Acting Board Manager Leah Martinez. Leah Martinez, raise your hand in the back there before the item comes up on the agenda. She's sitting in the back of the room. We recommend you complete a separate form for each agenda item on which you would like to comment. Members of the public providing public comment, please use the microphone on the stand located in the front of the room. You'll be here shortly. We will now proceed to the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll be led by Jacqueline Gaby.
Pledge.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3.5, there were no actions taken in closed session, so none to report. Item 3.6, revisions to enclosure items and adoption of the board meeting agenda. There were revised item enclosures 4.1, 4.2, 6.2, 6.15, 6.16, and 11.1. Do I have a motion to adopt the board meeting agenda?
So moved.
I'll second. So on a motion by Board Member Gamoyan and a second by Board Member Villegas, we have a vote.
Motion passes 6-0 with 1 absent.
Thank you. Now we head into the student performance, Redwood High School Dance. I'd like to recognize Executive Director of Student Services, Natalie Garza.
Good evening, board. Tonight we would like to welcome to the floor Redwood High School Dance Force, the varsity team at Redwood High School. Throughout the year, you'll see this group performing at school events, competing in regional national competitions, and tonight the juniors and seniors from Dance Force will be performing a routine they learned this summer at USA Dance Camp. Under the direction of Michelle Lapp, we'd like to welcome the Dance Force. We want to come on. Thank you to RHS Dance Force. Let's give them another round of applause.
Okay, so moving on. Item 4.1, focus on student learning. Spotlight on good things happening in the district. Presenter is Superintendent Kirk Schrum.
All right. Well, good evening, board members and board president Odo and Clerk Gaby and our board members. Again, thank you to Redwood for that awesome display of their talent. Just again, a sampling of all the many talents that our students have in our district. Really proud that we are continuing our tradition of having a student performance every board meeting as we're in the school year. And that's always something we look forward to because it centers us on why we are here, which is our students. So tonight for our spotlight on good things happening, of course, we're several weeks now into the school year, and many of our sites had great back to school nights before school or as school has started. And this is a chance for parents and students to come in to know more about what their child will be doing during the school year and how best to support them. And there have been great turnouts as we've had these events over these past few weeks and then leading up to the start of school. So thank you to our school sites for hosting those events. This is about maybe our third or fourth year, I believe, that we've had a partnership with the National Education Equity Lab. This is an organization that helps to bring dual enrollment classes to communities that may not have as large of ability to access these classes. And we're really proud because within this, not only do they take this in many cases during a zero period or they're getting to school in addition to their normal work, but this is partnering with national, well-known, established universities throughout the nation, bringing that incredible talent to our local school sites. And this fall, out of this, now these are already students taking dual enrollment. Several of them earned a national recognition because they were named to the Honor Society National Equity Lab, placing in the top 20% of nearly 8,000 students in the spring semester who took these classes. Visalia stood out as the only district in the Central Valley to be recognized, and this is because of our board's commitment to ensuring our students have access to advanced learning opportunities. So from Golden West and Mount Whitney, our students took rigorous courses from Morehouse College and Arizona State University, with several earning a spot in the top 10% nationwide. And these scholars were celebrated in late August by the National Ed Equity Lab alongside university professors, district leaders, and proud families. So a shout out to these students for their great academic accomplishment, and Golden West and Mount Whitney for helping to support the implementation of these classes. Now, not only do we, and are we proud of our students, as we've talked about before, but our amazing facilities operations team constantly on the go to make sure our facilities are ready for our students to learn. This summer, our crews tackled major projects from replacing field lights, upgrading HVAC systems. This work aligns to our strategic plan theme, organizational efficiency and effectiveness. Their behind-the-scenes efforts keep our schools running smoothly and create safe learning environments for our staff and students. We want to thank them for their work, keeping our staff informed every step of the way. So thank you to our teams for having our sites ready and continuing as things pop up during the school year. As we're back to school, it is that time, fall sports. And so our season started the second week of August. We have football, volleyball, cross country, water polo, girls tennis, and golf happening as we speak. And we look forward to seeing and hearing about these students' accomplishments both on and off of the field. Another thing that I'm really, really proud of, last board meeting or a couple of board meetings ago, our board improved an unprecedented investment in teacher professional development. And not teacher professional development that's one time, you come to a 2-hour meeting and that's it. But this is a 2-year commitment to really learn about the science of reading and the strategies associated with that to be implemented in our classrooms. This is a 2-year commitment. I want to stress that. These are teachers and staff who said, you know what, I want to be invested in. There is nothing more important that we do as a district than to make sure every student can read. That's how you make sure students have equitable opportunities as they progress through life. It's that ability to read. And so since this approval, we have now kicked off the cohorts that will be engaging in this learning. Some of this will be in person on the weekends. Some of it will be in the evenings as they go through this cohort together for the next 2 years. We have over 124 K through 3 teachers. It's about 40% of our K through 3 teaching staff just in this first cohort alone, willing to sign up, say, hey, I'm willing to be invested in, and this is brand new. So none of us really know fully what we're going to expect, right? This is new learning together. And I say that because the executive cabinet and many of our principals from our elementary sites are also going through an administrative cohort. We also kicked off our cohort. I don't know which one is ours. I think we were excited. I have not done my homework yet, but I am going to get that done in time. But we're really excited because it's important that not only as our teachers are learning, we're learning alongside them so that we can support the journey and also model for them how important we know this is. And so I'm excited to learn alongside our other administrators and our teachers as we kick off our letters, Science of Reading, Professional Development cohort. So congratulations. Thank you to those folks and our 28 district administrators who are participating in this opportunity to learn and grow together. Also, I believe this was this weekend, actually, or recently, we've had a couple of our academies. This one, our Business Finance Academy seniors kicked off their virtual enterprise journey by stepping into panel-style simulated interviews with business partners. These seniors will gain hands-on experiences running a business and preparing for statewide competitions later this year. A huge thank you goes to our industry partners who mentored and interviewed students, sharing their expertise and helping our seniors step into the world of business. And then a few pieces of spotlighting. We spotlighted our National Equity Lab, and then, of course, Labor Day and some other events as well through our social media. And board, that concludes our spotlight for this board meeting.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Schrum. Any public comment? Board member comment? Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 4.2, strategic plan, theme 3 updates. Presenting tonight, Chief Business Officer Nathan Hernandez and Assistant Superintendent Human Resources and Development Ben Dillon.
Well, good evening, Dr. Odo, Dr. Board Clerk Odo. Good evening, Dr. Odo, members of the board, and Superintendent Schrum. I've got 3 of these, so I'll get it right on one of them. So I'm excited tonight to be able to share alongside Mr. Dillon some updates from our strategic plan theme 3, which is organizational efficiency and effectiveness. The last month's meeting, Mr. Thompson shared the game plan for our strategic plan, how we're going to report out to the board and the community on our metrics and our accountability measures, and the work that had been done in our previous year, we're calling year 0, to get us ready for our year 1 of our strategic plan. So tonight we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into theme 3, and we're going to share. Again, part of our strategic plan, but we're going to share some of the research and design of some specific actions that have gone through some early research and design and are ready for implementation in this next school year. So I'm going to share just a little bit as a reminder of the blueprint for our strategic plan. And so the board did a lot of work there on the top of our blueprint, getting us prepared with our mission and vision and building out beliefs and commitments. And our response to that was the development of the strategic plan, a 5-year strategic plan for every student learning every day. And below that, at the bottom, are the accountability measures, how we're going to measure our progress within the strategic plan, but also, most importantly, that's having an impact on our student outcomes. And so to orient you to the coding that's on the left there, the 3A213A. So we're going to talk about the public financial dashboard, our network security, which is primarily our multi-factor authentication, and our online employee performance management. But the coding there on the left, the 3A21, to remind you, we have themes, focus areas, initiatives, and actions. All right. And so that coding is just that. Theme 3, what we're talking about tonight, organizational efficiency and effectiveness. And then that's there on our strategic plan. And that theme has 2 focus areas. I can't read that. I think it says resource and operational management. And then human capital is the second one. And so we're going to focus in on the resource and operational management. And then the initiative within that is maintaining fiscal health and stability using transparent financial policies and practices. And then our action under that is to design and implement a public financial dashboard. So I'm going to jump in and describe that a little bit. We're excited that we're going to be launching this over the next few months during this year, and we're utilizing Open Finance. Open Finance is a platform that's already available to us through Tyler Munis, and so we looked at different dashboards that were out there. This is something that we already had access to within Tyler Munis, and so we looked at school districts and other municipalities throughout the country who use this product and the level of detail that they're sharing in their communities. We identified the financial categories that we plan to expand upon. And then we worked with Tyler to do a draft mock-up of what this would look like and the uploads that will happen on an automatic basis so that we make sure that the site is continuously updated and providing accurate information. And we go back to superintendent search, to times when we've done surveys of the community, and really they're looking for us to be transparent in how we provide them with access to our financial information. And we do reports like we are going to do tonight with our unaudited actuals and our budget, but that's very high level. This gives the ability for someone to dive a little bit deeper into the district's financial activity. So where we're at now is working on our communication plans and how we're going to roll out the first phase of this dashboard, as well as how we plan to track feedback from community, from things that we're generating from the site, as well as analytics of how often it's being used, so that we can monitor and improve on what we're sharing. So a couple of pictures. This is the site is live. It's not posted yet, but we're still working through what that will look like. But you can see there, just it looks like a dashboard. It's got charts and things, and as you click into the chart, you can drill down deeper into. In this case, what we're showing is our fund. We're clicked down into services and into a specific resource. In this case, I think it is our maintenance department, which we highlighted in our spotlight, and then all the way down in to see how they're or what they're spending for consulting and specialized services. And so that's what will be available with our public financial dashboard. Also want to highlight within this focus area are enhancing technological resources and systems, and going down even deeper into the action is to implement policies and practices for improved network security, emergency preparedness, and system redundancy. We actually had a scenario a couple of weeks ago. We've been working on this for probably the last 5 or 6 years. And just about a week and a half ago, we had an issue with AT&T. The internet went down, and it went down 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was down for most of the day. Well, we didn't notice it because we have a redundant internet system, and it stepped right in, and wasn't until I think the next evening when I found out that it had happened. So it was nice that we had that in place. But we're constantly looking at improving on our technology, and in this case, we're looking at multi-factor authentication. So employees have a 2-step process to log in to their credentials. The team analyzed and did a review of 7 different programs. They tested those programs, worked with our consultants from cybersecurity, as well as had our internal staff put this on and have them pilot it through the first phase of implementation, and just had it implemented with our management group or anyone with access to sensitive financial or student data. And the plan is to roll this out to the rest of the district this year, our staff. And so just a picture of one of the ways that folks can, you have to try to guess, but there's lots of different options over probably hundreds at this point, where folks, they'll use their password and then pictures to be able to log in. So it's accessible, it's scalable, and it's pretty easy for our staff to focus on and use. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dillon.
All right. So like Chief Business Officer Hernandez just stated, this is the overall theme 3. And then as you go down into that focus area around human capital, and then drill down further into the ensuring efficient, effective, and equitable human capital management system initiative, the specific action that we wanted to kind of take a deep dive into this evening is implementing an online employee performance management system. So Nathan and I actually selected this together because it was really a joint venture in terms of launching and a lot of the initial research and design work between our 2 divisions. So just to kind of give you a little bit of idea what that looks like. And I also want to just pull up just for a minute. What you're looking at here is we're trying to get sort of a structure of how we would bring forward these theme reports to you. And so on the left-hand side, you're seeing a description of research indicators that would be sort of common indicators or examples, general examples of indicators that action owners would be conducting as a part of that research phase of the overall implementation process. The practical applied examples that I'm sharing about are what you're seeing on the right-hand side. And so we'll replicate that as we go through slides. The left-hand side is sort of general indicators. And then what we did specific to this action is what will be reflected on the right-hand side of the screen. So those specific things that we did during the research phase of implementation really started with getting an idea of our current state analysis, specifically as we talk about this type of initiative. It was probably not what you would not expect. We have had a paper pencil evaluation process. I know all of our managers in the room have greatly appreciated that paper and pencil process, but we found it was important to work on that, streamline that, not only for evaluators, but for those being evaluated, to try to improve that. As we did that, what we obviously identified is it is paper to pencil. Completion and evaluation completion rates are not what we wanted them to be. And also, there is no way that our district has had to pull data from that in recent history. And so those were some specific things we called out. As we moved through that, then what we started doing is really begin researching around platform selection and availability. What platforms are out there? So we looked at 5 different kind of broad platforms. Some of them, PowerSchool Perform, Leapsome, Trackstar, won't bore you with all that, but a number of kind of leading platforms in this industry, and that included like live demonstrations, thought partnership sharing with individuals, platform walkthroughs, stakeholder feedback. As we moved through that, we ended up identifying really the one that we found would be most beneficial for our district. That also included considering the other systems that we already have and making sure that there's alignment and the opportunity for integration to work efficiently within our specific organization. And so then as we move forward with that and got a better idea of, okay, what platforms are we looking at? What existing systems do we have? We very strategically then reached out to other districts who had experience with similar systems, the similar types of systems we were considering, also utilizing, for example, Tyler Munis, which is our district's business information system, and getting an idea from them about what they've experienced with that. What's the utilization been like? What has just user sort of experience been? And that information helped really drive us forward in getting closer to where we ultimately landed in design. Just to give you an idea, there were 3 different districts in California that had kind of a similar makeup, and 1 in Texas that were really instrumental in helping advise us on that. So as we move forward with that, then shifting into design indicators, those specific steps, and I'm kind of bucket here, but that ideal state development was a big part of this. So looking at what was our current state and then really envisioning what is ideal state, thinking 2030, right? Because this is a 5-year plan. What does ideal state look like in 2030? Well, it would be an automated evaluation process for all employee groups. We would look to have 100% evaluation completion rates, having alignment between employee performance data and student outcomes to really understand what are the things that we're seeing as it relates to employee performance that are correlated with student outcomes to better help drive how we're supporting coaching and guidance in both of those areas. And then also too, recognizing that performance data as a result then informs professional learning opportunities. And that's where we see ourselves and where we see this district in service of our staff and our students 5 years from now. So as a part of that, this past year, we engaged in a pilot launch. We started off this time last year with 21 evaluators, many of whom are in the room. And so thank you to all of you who are part of that and kind of that early adopter group. You were instrumental into this work and truly, truly grateful for your participation in this. By the end of the year, we were at 52 evaluators who had completed over 275 evaluations using the platform. We learned a ton from this group, and that feedback really was helpful in informing how we move forward. And so going into this school year, we are now moving forward with the platform, launching all evaluations for over 1,600 employees this year who are due for evaluation in PowerSchool Perform, which is what we identified. Part of that process was also not just selecting the platform, but a big part of the design component of that, which we are still in, is the training and support initiatives. And so really recognizing what does training need to look like? What are those resources and tools that people need access to? Increasing that transparency, the utilization of our district's hub, that intranet for employees, has where we've housed a lot of this. So the opportunity to utilize that has also been really helpful as we move forward. So just to give you a little bit of idea, this is a bit of kind of what the dashboard looks like, and this is mine. So as an evaluator, I can look at to see where are my tasks at as they relate to the evaluation process and what's due, what's already been completed, what am I behind on? I showed you this because it's early in the year and I'm not behind on anything yet. And so it was a good example. But when it's very different, everything's in one place. And so that's been a big shift. And just as an example, these are a couple quotes. I know they're kind of small on the screen, but just to give you a little bit of insight from some of our folks who've been using this past year, a lot of kind of the themes of what you hear people share about is having a one-stop shop where everything is. The system prompts you and lets you know what's coming up and what's due. The other thing too that a number of folks mentioned is the synthesizing of the technical work that has to be done, and really like the efficiency that's found with the procedural part has led to much more robust, purposeful engagement in evaluations, leading to more time, more energy, opportunity for rich dialogue and coaching conversations, and opportunity to engage in really constructive, effective feedback. As a result of finding forms, scanning forms, emailing them over, all of that process. And so where are we now? We are in an initial part of implementation for this year. We are not fully implementing this year, and we're not even scheduled to be fully implemented this year. So just to give you an idea, there's a lot still that is left to come. But as an example right now, like I mentioned, we're fully launching across the district. We really are excited, and some of those quotes kind of point to this, for the enhanced end user experience, both as the employee being evaluated and as the manager who's doing the evaluation. If I could point to kind of like three specific things as it relates to user experience, it would really be the efficiency of having a single system, the transparency via a live dashboard, live communication goes back and forth and is accessible from both parties. And then also really just that improved record keeping and communication. As a result of that, then we're excited to see the promise of what a data-driven system will provide us, being able to extract data from the system that informs on a site level what are common performance areas that we can focus on, right? As a school, as a department, and even district-wide, looking at are there certain standards that we as a district need to better support our staff with in service of our students. So that concludes our presentation for this evening, but we happily be available to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment on this item? Board member questions? No, moving on. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Okay, we move to item 5, general public comment. General public comment on any topic not on the agenda may be heard at this time. If you have public comment on an item listed on tonight's agenda, there will be an opportunity for you to share your comments at the time the item comes up for discussion by the board. Pursuant to board policy, the board will limit individual comments for general public comment to no more than 3 minutes and individual topics to 20 minutes. To comply with the Brown Act, California's open public meeting law, board discussion is limited to items on the agenda. Therefore, when receiving public comment for items not on the agenda, the board's role is limited to receiving such comments, and the board may not engage in dialogue with the public. The board thanks the public for its participation in public comment and understanding of the board's responsibilities. It is recommended you begin your comments by stating your name. I have one request right now to speak. That is Diana Torres.
Good evening, board members. My name is Diana Torres, and this is my husband, Frank Alvarado. We are the parents of our Redwood High School senior. Our daughter, Haley, has been a proud member of the cheer program for 3 years, but this year, her senior year, she was cut. Over the past 5 months, I have been given shifting explanations, behavior, attendance, and scoring. Every single one has been disproved. Behavior concerns were found non-existent, attendance did not justify removal, and when we questioned scoring, I was told the team was made smaller, yet the program actually grew while varsity shrank. None of the reasons hold up. What is most concerning is that scores are withheld from parents and team size is left entirely to the coach's discretion. I believe my daughter was not cut for her ability, but because of my advocacy. That is retaliation. Haley is not just a cheerleader. She's a 4-year avid student, currently taking AP Literature, AP Psychology, and AP Statistics. She is active in FFA, Raising a Pig, and serves as president for opening and closing ceremonies. She is exactly the kind of student this district says it wants to support. High achieving, committed, and a leader. As a so-called resolution, Superintendent Designee Natalie Garza proposed that Haley try out for cheer at Mount Whitney. She did make the team, but only if she transfers schools. That is not resolution, that is punishment. It asks a senior to sacrifice her academics, her friendships, and stability for something that she has already committed 3 years to. This goes against the core beliefs of the USD that all students can achieve at high levels, that family engagement is key to success, and that learning environment should be safe and supportive. It also contradicts Redwood's mission to prepare students for the future through learning, achievement, and character. What character lesson is being taught when retaliation is rewarded and commitment is disregarded? We are respectfully requesting 2 things. If Haley is not reinstated at Redwood Cheer, that she be allowed to cheer at Mount Whitney without transferring schools. If she is reinstated, that protections be put in place so retaliation does not continue. If it does, then the coach's ability to lead fairly should be reviewed. All of the reasons for cutting Haley have been disproved. What remains is retaliation and inconsistency. I urge this board to reject Superintendent Garza's proposal as unfair and instead adopt a resolution that truly protects students so no senior is ever forced to choose between their academics and their passion. Finally, we have provided each of you with a printout that includes a timeline of retaliation, records of resolution conversations, and letters from Haley's teachers, many of whom strongly oppose of a transfer. We ask that you review these documents carefully as you consider your decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along on the agenda then. Okay, consent agenda, item 6. Would any board member like to pull an item from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll motion.
Seconded by,
I'll second it.
so on a motion by Board Member DeYoung and seconded by Board Member Belt, let's go ahead and vote.
Student Board Representative votes yes, and motion passes 6-0 with 1 absent.
Thank you. There we go. Item 7, student representative report. Mr. Kevin Rubio, Sequoia High School. Welcome.
Good evening, board members. My name is Kevin Rubio, and I am a senior at Sequoia High School and a member of the USAV, our district-wide student leadership team. At our first USAV meeting of the year, we launched a new structure that will guide our work moving forward. As part of the VUSD strategic plan, one of the 65 action items is to enhance and expand student voice across the district. USAV is excited to play a big role in reaching this goal. How USAV will work this year? Each month, USAV student leaders will focus on one topic connected to the student experience. After each meeting, students will, 1, collect input from a diverse group of peers using surveys, interviews, or other creative methods. Discuss the findings with their ASB class to generate new ideas and possible solutions. Share insights with site administration to connect student feedback to school goals. Report back at the next USAV meeting and school board meeting to share their site's findings with the district team. This process creates a feedback loop that makes sure students' perspectives are heard at the classroom, school, and district level. Monthly topics include September, relationship and belonging, October, activities and engagement, November, teaching and learning, December, safety and environment, February, school culture and pride, March, wellness and support, April, recognition and acknowledgement, May, future readiness, college, career, and life skills. We are grateful for the support of ASB directors and site administrators who will help us bring this process to life on our campuses. Together, we are creating consistent opportunities for students to share their voice, strength, school culture, and help shape meaningful change across VUSD. And now for a few highlights from our sites. Redwood hosted a club day last week, which featured 75 clubs and drew hundreds of students to the event, where they signed up to get involved. FBLA stole the show, handing out over 400 free snow cones in the 100-degree heat. With robotics, esports, and bake club were some of the many clubs that drew students' interest with hands-on demos and baked treats. On August 29th, LD broke tradition with a more creative approach to their icebreaker dance. They held their dance in the stadium at Golden West following the LD football game and was the most attended icebreaker in years, following over 350 students. Raising Cane's helped make the night memorable by sponsoring the event and serving 800 pieces of chicken. On August 22, Golden West started the year strong with an outstanding club rush, where dozens of clubs showcased their programs and students eagerly signed up to get involved. Despite the warm weather, the energy and excitement on campus set a positive tone for the year ahead. During the first week of school, Mount Whitney hosted their welcome week with activities and dress-up days. Average 275 students dressed up each day. Approximately 230 students also attended their first football game that week. Sequoia held a successful back-to-school night. The theme for the year, Be a Potato, Good with Everything, Better with Resources, could be seen in the department's potato-themed decorations. The theme made it all the way to a full-blown baked potato bar that was much appreciated and well received by all. VCIS is engaging in meaningful activities to promote suicide awareness as September is Suicide Awareness Month. The student support team and student activities class are putting together events to promote mental health awareness during September. World Suicide Prevention Day is tomorrow, September 10th, and VCIS will promote this by hosting their Wellness Wednesday lunchtime activity where students enjoy a free pizza lunch, games, and music, and celebrate and value one another. On the 29th of August, VTech held its annual icebreaker dance with the theme of Welcome to the Circus, where all students were invited to build a culture of inclusivity on campus. There were games, music, and overall a good time for students to enjoy. I also want to shout out my mom, Adriana Urbina, and my dad, Victor Rubio, for being there when I most needed it, and my siblings for always being there too. I also want to shout out to my girlfriend, Michelle Sevilla Ramirez, because over this year, she also helped me during school when I most needed it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate the insight into the student world in Visalia Unified and also for the lengthy piece there on the advisory. All good information. Okay, moving on to board member reports. Starting off in our traditional way, Board Member Belt, you're up first.
Thank you, interim temporary stand-in President Dr. Odo. We across our district are probably having lots of back-to-school nights. I sadly missed the potato night, but was able to attend the Ivanhoe back-to-school night, which all of our schools were trying to foster a community. And of course, they have the Goshen and Ivanhoe have a unique opportunity because they are the community. And it was an amazing evening with not only a packed house in their little multi-purpose building, but also so many families with lots of different kids. And I won't forget the one little kindergartner who was very shy and was speaking to her mother and Principal Rasner, and then finally made her way up to me to ask a very important question. She said, will Mrs. Belt be my friend? Mrs. Belt is her music teacher. And for the first few days, she didn't feel like that she had successfully asked her teacher if she could be her friend. And so I was the proxy to take home. I said, absolutely, I will make sure to extend your invitation for Mrs. Belt to be your friend. And so tomorrow or Monday, when you see her again in music, you'll know that that's been assured. What goes on in the minds of our little ones is unfathomable at times. But it was amazing to actually watch families so excited about back to school, being back to school. And then I have to actually highlight, where's she? Principal Rasner. They now have a cheer at Ivanhoe. I'm not going to try to do it, but the kids led the staff and the families in the Ivanhoe cheer. But also what's really unique is Principal Rasner has decided to take her office to the hallways. And she now has a cart that she is rolling around the school grounds with her laptop. And I hear lots of other items that are some not easily identified, others that obviously she needs throughout the day to do her tasks. But what I'm excited about is that, again, a principal taking to heart being visible, being accessible, being with students and staff as much as possible. So thank you, Jonna, for making that incredible idea. I know it's real popular. If you follow TikTok, there's a principal that's, anyway, also making that very famous. But again, thanks you to all of our principals who are here tonight. A thankless job that seems to never end, but we're glad you're there.
Okay, Board Member DeYoung.
Thank you, Acting President Odo. Time is really flying by, and I haven't been as active as I normally would, but things are starting to pick back up. I'm really looking forward to the more school sites, visiting them as that picks up as well. It's great to see the school sites as they progress. Two of which I should mention, Conyer and Crowley, which are great little schools. They have a lot of character and history. And I, for one, I'm looking forward to having more visits with them in the future. One more thing on a personal note, I now have a child who is a middle schooler. So if you want to add me to your prayers, I would appreciate it. This is kind of another new experience for our family, our young family, and I'm looking forward myself to be more involved in as a middle school parent, and to learn as much as I can, since I have two more kiddos that are eventually going to make it there too. But you might ask, like, why is this type of involvement important? Well, I had a few parents and staff reach out to me recently about concerns they've had with Visalia Unified, which many constituents do, and I'm glad for it. I'm also happy, to listen anyone's concerns. That's not an issue, but I want to reiterate that we don't need to wait to bring something up if we feel it's an issue. And I got to thinking, a great outlet for this for so many people would be your local school PTA. Now, I'm not talking about, going there with all your problems and, blasting it like that. That's not the point. But if you get more involved in ways you can, and talk to other parents, you might be surprised. And so our PTAs are always looking for more help. I can't stress that enough. And that help will directly affect our schools and will directly affect our kids. And there's not a whole lot more meaningful ways to do that. And, as a parent, I'm very grateful for the work that our PTAs do for our schools. They are on it. And, that's part of our core beliefs and commitments about family and community engagement is key to student success. And, if you can't help PTA physically, they'll always take your donations. So that's always an option. But usually too, some of them bring up is that school principals typically attend these meetings because principals do love their PTAs, and PTAs make a huge difference in the community and with the schools. And that is a great opportunity for parents, grandparents, whoever, to give positive feedback and to also talk to the principals and see how your school is doing. And so lastly, I'd just like to give another thank you to our PTAs and of course our principals, who hopefully don't get swarmed with a bunch of parents, even though that wouldn't be a bad thing. Also to staff, admin, especially administration cabinet for meeting with me recently, answering A lot of questions I always seem to have. It is appreciated. I know at times your days are busy, and every bit of information I get really does help me make good decisions for the district. And I would hope that as well for our parents. So go check out your school, check out your local PTA. And with that concludes my report, Acting President Odo.
Thank you. Next up, Mr. Board Trustee Villegas. Sorry.
Thank you, Dr. Odo. Just wanted to give a brief shout out to all of our students, all of our teachers, and all of our parents who are gearing up for the fair and through FFA, recognizing all of the hard hours, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom it takes to, raise animals, show animals. And if you've ever seen one of these competitions firsthand, or if you haven't, I encourage you to go because it's such a phenomenal experience to see, so many students, their leadership, not to mention those working towards their state degrees and so many other honors through the FFA program. And so if you have a chance, to swing by the fair this week or next, please applaud our students, our teachers and parents, and so many folks who put in so many hours to make sure, this experience runs smoothly. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to all of who are actively involved in FFA and so many other programs. Not to mention, I'm sure we'll probably have some student performances and other folks involved in the fair in other capacities. So really excited to, go see what our students have been working on. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Gamoyan.
I appreciated Kevin's report with all the club days, Redwood having 75 clubs. Every high school and middle school, they have tons of clubs. It's really important that students are connected to the school, and that's a really good way to connect to the school. I think there's something for everyone. So parents, encourage your kids to get involved that way. I am on the California School Board Association Legislative Committee, and we're coming to the close of the legislative session. And so we're meeting on Friday. Most of the bills that are sponsored by CSBA are very kid oriented, student oriented, and most of those are going forward. There are a few controversial legislations that are still up in the air. So if any school board member or staff or parent wants me to advocate for something, just let me know. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Board Member Gaby.
All right. Well, yes, definitely want to start out with thank you for Superintendent Strum for all he's bringing in to enhance student voice. I don't think we, definitely don't do that enough. And I love that they are also going out and getting additional voices and, bringing as many students into that as possible. So very cool. And yes, definitely a shout out to all of the work that goes into fair animals. I don't know, you mentioned student performance. Maybe we could get them to show their pigs in here. Goats are always welcome. And then aside from that, I'm going to kind of be blatantly biased about my kids started LD this year, and it has been just an amazing start. And so I know every one of you is doing that at your campuses, but everything from back to school night, they happen to be at an academy. The teachers were visibly excited about making connections and what was going on in the program. And I know, shout out to Mr. Taylor is bringing back the green sea. There was more kids out than I've ever seen at events. And I heard all about the canes. I don't even know that they knew there was a football game happening, but they knew that there was going to be canes there. So thank you. That's one school, but I know it's happening at all of them. And thank you to principals. But I'm going to disagree that it's thankless. I think it's the best job out there. So enjoy it. And that concludes my report.
Yeah, and I'll second that. Principal is the best job in the world. So I don't have any report except to say, time flies really fast. We've heard a lot of things going on in the district that are good. Board member reports that reflect good things that we've witnessed as board members, a report on theme 3 for the strategic plan. And those are all long lever kinds of things that'll allow us to be better at our work and more accountable for our work. But we're a month in already. We think it's still the start of school. Yeah, it's the start of school, but we're moving fast. So thanks to everyone for their hard work. and looking forward to great results this year, just like we've all been looking forward. So thank you. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also want to echo appreciation for all the work our leaders and school sites and teachers are doing as we are now well into several weeks into the school year. Thank you to Trustee DeYoung. You know, when we talk about PTA, we've made that a key piece, one of the actions within our strategic plan on theme 2, which is family, community involvement, engagement, is that every school have an active PTA and PTO. And so we're well on our way. We've increased. I don't off the top of my head have the number, but that'll be part of what we report back when we do our quarterly strategic plan reports. But it's great to see that continue to grow into sites that have not had that opportunity as well. So I'm pleased to see that, and thank you for highlighting that. And also for the fair, most of us will be visiting this week as well. So I think tomorrow or Thursday is when I go. And so looking forward to seeing our students definitely put in a lot of work and our staff as well to help get the kids ready for this. And it is every year, it's a great event to go to because you see the students living out what they're passionate about. And so very excited about that. I've had the opportunity in the first few weeks of school still going, have about another week or 2 to go for my initial site visit at every site. My goal is always to get to every site in the first few weeks of school to see how things are going, talk to our principals, check in with some teachers. I'm very proud of what I see happening as we really make a concerted effort to make sure we're using highly effective classroom practices in every classroom, that students are being exposed to instruction that's at the level of the grade level, and then scaffolding and providing that support using our district aligned resources. And that's how we're going to continue to see our students achieve. So thank you to our teachers and our staffs for being focused and intentional about that work. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving on to 10.1, recommended suspended expulsions. May I have a motion to approve the recommended suspended expulsions?
All motion.
Second.
So on a motion by Board Member Villegas, seconded by Board Member Gamoyan, call for the vote.
Student Board Representative abstains and motion passes 6-0 with 1 absent.
Moving on to item 10.2, recommended expulsions. May I have a motion to approve the recommended expulsions?
So moved.
I'll second.
So on a motion by Board Member Gamoyan and a second by Board Member DeYoung, call for the vote.
Student Board Member abstains and motion passes 6-0 with 1 absent.
Okay, general agenda, 11.1, fiscal year 2024-25 unaudited actuals report, the most important report of the year.
You forgot the woohoo.
Woohoo.
Good evening, Dr. Odo, members of the board, and Superintendent Schramm. Tonight, I am going to be sharing with you the culmination of all of our financial activity through June 30th of 2025. And so I'm going to begin just as a reminder that the budget and this actuals report is how we resource to make the board's mission and vision, our commitment to student learning come true. And it's how the board sets the conditions for everything else to happen within our schools. And that starts with our budget. And this is, again, that culminating report. So we're going to talk about the unaudited actuals, what it means, where we ended the year in our general fund, and we'll look at our other funds and talk about what's next. Because as we mentioned, we're already planning for the 26-27 school year. So again, this is the last report that you'll get from staff on the unaudited on our actuals for 24-25. Our next report in January will be from our external audit firm, and they'll be here the next couple of months to complete our audit. It is required by Ed Code, so it is a compliance document. And so you look at the 250 pages within the report, lots of numbers, lots of compliance pieces within that, and how we completed the last fiscal year. And that goes to our county office prior to September 15th. That's why we're here tonight. And then it goes on to CDE. And then it's used by our external auditors to complete our final audit report for the year. So the 3 things that we pull from this report is: are we living within our means? Are we deficit spending? Do we have surplus? Were we able to meet our required reserve, which is set at 3%? And then are each of our district's funds solvent, meaning do they have positive ending balances, revenues over their expenditures? And so I'll go through each of those as we get there. This is where we're at in our accounting cycle. And like I mentioned, this is the end of this year's reporting, but we've already started preparing and we'll be starting with our LCAP here in the next few weeks, preparing for the 26-27 budget process. So high level general fund, over $520 million in revenues as we ended last fiscal year. That was down from the 23-24 year, primarily because we finished the expenditures of our ESSER funds, our federal funds that came to us as one-time funds through those ESSER 1, 2, and 3 actions that happened there. We did have some additional state funding from primarily CTE type programs, but also teacher residency, as well as our expanded learning opportunities program. And so we had an increase year over year from other state revenues. And then our local revenues, primarily that increase was from interest earnings. We've seen better returns in stock market. And so as the district has cash that is set aside, we also earn interest on those funds. So $520 million in total revenues, and you can see the breakdown there by different source. Most of it comes from the state. Both the blue and the green are portions of state funding, but you see there the federal revenues about 4% of our overall budget. That's higher when we had the ESSER funds, but it's now that's a more normalized federal revenue picture for us. On the expenditure side, we mentioned 24 or 25, we had $520 million in revenue and $540 million in expenditures. And so that first question, are we living within our means? So we are deficit spending. That was planned. We're spending down balances from prior fiscal years. So we had revenue in prior fiscal year that we're spending down. And so as we spend down those revenues from prior years, it shows as an expense in the current year and shows as a deficit, but we still have those positive fund balances. We are also meeting our required reserve amount of 3%. And so we check all of those boxes along whether we have a positive certification would be the case in our budget report. But in here it shows that we are living within our means and we do have positive ending fund balances. Other outgoing capital, a lot of that was ESSER expenditures. We did a lot of capital projects with ESSER funds. We also had some construction in 24-25. That was for the Visalia Charter Independent Study Building. And so we'll see that number probably drop in 25-26 when we come back and provide this report. My favorite Excel sheet ever. It is an Excel sheet, but it shows when we spend $1, this is where those funds go. And majority of those funds, almost 80%, go to salaries and benefits. We're a people business, and that's where our expenditures go when we talk about programs and services. We do that through people, and so 80% salaries and benefits, and then you can see the amounts there for books and supplies and services and other expenditures. The components of ending fund balance, this is essentially where we have our reserve funds, focusing in on the unrestricted side of our budget. So this is just, this does not include those restricted funds. You can see that revenues, expenditures, and transfers, about a $9 million deficit. Most of that was completion of some of those capital projects that I just mentioned, BCIS as one. And so our ending fund balance at the end of the year, 51 million, and the amount that we have set aside in our reserve is at 8.2%. So as we closed out last year, above our 3% required minimum. And then you can see some other balances that we have there, and then again a pension reserve that we have set aside. For our other district funds, all of our other district funds have positive ending fund balances. So again, answering that last question about the solvency of our other district funds, all of them, again, with positive ending fund balances, over $432 million between our general fund and all of our other funds. So next steps, this will go to our county office for review and then on to Department of Ed. Our external auditors will take this report and they'll come in and do some additional audits. And then we'll close out the year with the audit report by December 15th. And then we'll come back to the board in January with that report from our external audit team. Want to thank the team, and I know I saw Mr. Lemus come in, who spent considerable time putting these reports together along under Kyla Johnson's leadership. So with that, we'll answer any questions.
Okay, any public comment? Any board member comment or discussion? Okay, this is an action item. So may I have a motion to approve the fiscal year 24-25 unaudited actuals report?
I so move.
I'll second.
So a motion by Board Member Belt, seconded by Board Member Villegas. Call for the vote.
Student representative votes yes, and motion passes 6-0 with 1 absent.
Moving on to item 11.2, exemption from required expenditures, classroom teacher salaries. Presented here is again, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, back. And this is a required waiver or exemption that the district seeks under Ed Code 41372. We're required to spend at least 55% of our funds on classroom salaries and benefits. This is a requirement that's been in place for many years, and many districts are in the same position, required to request a waiver because over time, as LCAP funds have expanded, we have more services being performed with classified service. We also have our expanded learning opportunities program, after school programs. A lot of these programs are not performed by our classroom teachers. And so many districts have to request this waiver. We're at about 50.8%. So we are below. We have done this now. This is the 3rd year that we've requested the waiver. And we anticipate that this will be required for us going forward as well.
Okay, public comment on this item? Board member questions or comment on this item? Okay, action item. So may I have a motion to approve the exemption from required expenditures, classroom teacher salaries? Okay. And I'll second. So on a motion by Board Member Gamoyen, seconded by Board Member Odo, call for the vote.
Student board representative votes yes, and motion passes 6-0 with 1 absent.
Item 11.3, warrant list, August 1st, 2025, August 29th, 2025, coming back around. May I have a motion to approve the warrant list from August 1st, 2025 through August 29th, 2025?
All motion.
Okay. So on a motion by Board Member Gaby, second by Board Member Gamoyen, call for the vote.
Motion passes with student board representative voting yes, and motion passes 6-0 with 1 absent.
And on that happy note, we're going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you.